development is he or she must be at the table. He or she must remember that it may not be pretty all the time advocating at that council table where it gets pretty bloody sometimes fighting for tax dollars. He or she must clearly understand who they are representing, and at times it may be uncomfortable to stand when you're standing on behalf of your constituency. So that's one of the main things that I would do. In terms of the mixed use, I'm at somewhat of a disadvantage because you're moving forward to it. I can only offer that I will continue to do what I'm doing on the school board, be a good listener, and come listen to what your concerns are, and then it's my job to execute it. It should not be anything that's difficult. The beautiful thing about what's happening here in this community is that you have millions and millions of dollars already being developed. And so that's almost somewhat of your hook in terms of why it's important for the city to get involved. I will continue to advocate that. I am a great listener. Check my track record on what I've been doing, and I want to continue to do it here as a member of Pittsburgh City Council.
I think the most important thing you can do as a city council person in regards to that specific issue is know how and actively go about bringing the resources to the table to make it happen. So for instance, you have the New Granada Theater on Center Avenue here in the Hill District. The New Granada Theater is not going to just be done on governmental funds. What you have to know how to do is how to bring forth a certain amount of dollars, but also go leverage private foundation money and other resources to actually make that happen. So you may be, as a governmental entity, you may be able to bring one portion, maybe 1/5 or 1/6% of those dollars, but then you work with Pittsburgh History and Landmarks and you bring them to the table. You work with the county executive and you find other resources that you can bring to the table to make this happen. Because no governmental official is going to be able to make what needs to happen on 5th and Forbes, and particularly around Pratt Street, happen strictly with governmental resources. You've got to know how to go out and leverage those resources and have those conversations with private entity. And I believe I do know how to do that because I have the experience having worked in a city and a state office working on those sort of projects. Two, you have to realize the leverage points that you do have. Uptown sits in between downtown and Oakland, second and third largest business districts in the state of Pennsylvania. It's a natural outgrowth of those two areas for us to bring in businesses and us to develop this corridor. But if we're going to do it, we also have to recognize that Uptown is not just a highway through the city, which is what it is right now. But essentially what we have right now is 5th Avenue and Forbes being served as highways. And so we have to have a proactive stance to work with the Port Authority to have maybe one bus that serves an express, but one bus that slows down. And you create nodes around within the community where people can get off and then be serviced by the mixed-use retail that you're speaking of. And so we have to use those and have to look at it very, very strategically and very differently. 5th Avenue High School, I don't know what's going to happen with 5th Avenue High School just yet. I think it's yet to be decided. I know it's on the market for, I think, $1 million. I believe it can actually be acquired for less than that.
It's been reduced to $850,000.
Okay, it's been reduced to $850,000. What I do know about 5th Avenue is that it actually has the potential to be almost anything. If you go inside that building, you can almost see from one end to the other end, and it's just a blank canvas to be done with. And so I don't know specifically what's going to happen there. In an ideal world, you would probably have some sort of mixed-use development within there, maybe some offices, maybe some retail on the first floor, maybe some housing above it. But that's yet to be decided. But that we can leverage the new arena, we can leverage the ongoing housing development that's occurring around Uptown and actually make that happen.
Mr. Lavelle?
Crime. You address the crime issue, everything else goes away. People are hungry. People are looking for jobs. People are looking for opportunities. And first of all, what's interesting about this city, during the Steelers Super Bowl, we were the Steeler Nation. During the Penguins play, we were one big Penguins family. We all stood strong and united together with the incident dealing with the 3 police officers. But as soon as we get money, we all go in our separate ways. Stimulus money is a one-time hit. We watched the county got their money, they're going green. City of Pittsburgh said, we're going to do some infrastructure thing. Mark Roosevelt already started spending in the school board. We didn't even have $1 yet. I would propose what I'm referring to as a tri-government YEP, a tri-government youth employment program. We force all three of those government agencies to take youth crime and youth violence. You take it and you place it as a top priority. No more discussions, no more negotiation. You place it on top priority. Secondly, we have each governmental agency to give $5 million of each of their stimulus money, because you can't do it for free. You take that $15 million, you set it aside, you put a director together, and you begin to train. You begin to get folks who can speak the language, to come up into these communities, and to get these kids into training programs, get these kids, in some cases, they're young parents, get them the necessary services that they need. We set a timeline, because I think that the stimulus money might be a 2-year thing. We can do this. And if we can't solve it completely, we can sure knock a big hole in it. First of all, you need a strong city councilman who's going to be constantly whisper in the ear of the mayor, youth violence is a priority, Mr. Mayor. Youth violence is a priority, not the penguins, okay? Not a bike czar, a bike czar. Can you imagine that? We pay for someone who does nothing but a monitor, whatever he or she does, but a bike czar. And we have yet to commit any dollars or anything real to the violence and to what's happening out here. When you can get strong leadership who would make it clear to the mayor that this is a priority for us, we want you to move on that yesterday. If you have to use your executive powers, then so be it. We're always talking about building partnerships with the different agencies. You stood with the school district on the Pittsburgh Promise. You stood with the county on consolidation of services. Why can't we stand for knocking out the crimes, which is, it's hitting and hurting everywhere. I'm a father of 5. I got kids right now who can't go into certain communities wearing certain colors. Okay? I have a mother and I have brothers and sisters and relatives who can't go a certain place because they say if it gets dark, they're scared in the city. Let's put an end to it. We can do it. All we have to do is prioritize it, and you need a strong council person to do that. I'm the one who's ready, willing, and able to do that.